I think the Clips should win it. I think Kendrick will win it.
I think Gen X should.
I don't think Kendrick's going to win.
Based on impact and how much I actually really listen to it.
That sounds like some hating shit right there. That just sounds like some hating shit.
I want to stop this right here, though, because I think Joe Budden is catching a lot of flack here. And it's not even Joe who said this, so I gotta be clear. You know, this podcast is painful to listen to.
Yo, PopPulse fam, what's poppin'? Welcome back to the channel where hip-hop never sleeps. Today, we're diving into the heat that's got the culture talking. Joe Budden's claim that Kendrick Lamar is a Grammy darling. We've got the best reactors on YouTube breaking it all down. Chig Smooth, J Nolan, the HSSB Crew, My Humble Opinion, Big Kish, Damn D Live News, and Yo Eek all bringing their own energy, perspectives, and some fire commentary. So before we get into it, smash that like button, subscribe, and share this with the fam, because this one gets spicy.
Over the last couple of months, specifically over the last 2 weeks, a lot of fans have been noticing Joe has been changing his tune when it comes to critiquing anybody's music from TDE. You guys all saw the video from last week when Joe went at it with Doechie's manager after Joe was trying to allude that maybe she might be falling off or maybe she was an industry plant all along.
Let's just take a look at this clip real quick. Joe Budden Podcast believes that Chance the Rapper's album deserves a Grammy over the Clips and Kendrick Lamar's GNX. He noted that Kendrick is a Grammy darling, so they might award it to him. That's kind of the basic gist of it, but I think the conversation around it is something that we need to discuss.
But basically, I don't know, it just sound like some I feel some type of way about Joe Budden saying that because I just don't understand where that's coming from. You acting like Kendrick doesn't deserve those Grammys. Y'all just seem like they just handed to him, you know? So sounds like a little bit of jealousy or something. You know, I don't know.
And up next, we have the Joe Budden Podcast saying that they believe Chance the Rapper's album deserves a Grammy win over the Clips and Kendrick Lamar's project. Also saying that Kendrick is probably going to win it just because he's the Grammy darling. And this almost feels like those years in the NBA when they didn't want to give the MVP to LeBron or Jordan because they had already won so many. But if a person is truly deserving of the award, shouldn't they win it? So I definitely feel these situations mirror themselves. That Clips project is absolutely great, and I wouldn't be mad if it won. And Chance delivered a great project, one that he really needed to, given the reception of his last project. The GNX not only had critical acclaim, but multiple hits on the project. The cultural impact of that record also supersedes the other two, and it's still being felt. Someone sweeping a previous year's awards shouldn't disqualify them from being in the running, especially if the project was not only highly rated, but also a huge commercial success.
All right, PopPulse fam. Now let's slide over to J Nolan, one of the most level-headed voices in the game. He's tuning in to the Joe Budden Podcast, and listen, he's not buying what they selling. Nolan says the whole take feels aimless, reactionary, and the wild part, Joe wasn't even the one who started that argument. Let's hear what J Nolan had to say about how that entire Grammy talk really went left.
But let's get into the debate that they were having because it seems to be striking an emotional chord in a lot of people. And I just want to go ahead and, get to exactly what was said that is striking that chord.
Chance album is going to get shunned.
Which is unfortunate.
Which is very unfortunate.
What you mean shunned? It ain't going to get a nomination?
I think it's a better album than GNX. I think it's a better album than Clips album.
But wait, what's shunned though? If it's nominated...
He's saying that he don't think it's going to get nominated.
I think from what I'm hearing so far, I think it's a better album than all. Don't get me wrong, all the other things that go into those albums make those albums important. But if you're talking about just music and just
got the album of the year.
All that Chance album
you said that about 9 albums.
I love Chance.
Because the new album comes out.
All his people.
Nah, yo.
Well, you change your album of the year quickly.
No,
or we've been blessed enough.
No, we've been blessed
to get
to have
that much great music this
because
year.
GNX was it for me all the way up until Clips
when
came out.
When did GNX come out, y'all?
Last year,
like was it November?
It was like November 2024.
It wasn't that
maybe
early.
October.
Yes, it was. Because I thought it was closer to Super Bowl time.
No.
GNX came out before
the
the
previous year. It was in 2024.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, but closer to Super
Bowl. But GNX was my choice until the Clips, and then now with Chance, it's like, I mean, I don't think anything else.
November 22nd.
I think the Clips is going to win it, but I think because they got the narrative and the momentum, but I think Chance should win it.
Now, I mean, that's the thing though. Like, I don't know how anyone here listens to the albums. And when I say that, I say, are you listening to it in passing? Are you listening to it in the car while you got things going on? I don't know if they drive their own cars or if they getting driven places. I don't know if you putting it on in the house and you listening to it that way. But I know over here we listen to albums differently, right? Like, we listen to albums for the substance, for the bars, for the metaphors, for the wordplay, for the punchlines. We listen for all of that, for the production. We listen for everything. So I don't know how they listen to albums to come up with what they come up with. And respectfully, I do disagree, but they're entitled to their opinion. I don't think Chance's album Starline is better than, I would say, maybe 3 of the albums, and we'll discuss that too.
Probably would put GNX first.
Yo, that
but it's a dogfight. I want to be clear.
That Chance album, bro, is
Kendrick got to move. Kendrick got to get to the back of the line and share the stage. We already gave you
about that album.
9 versions of every award.
That's why I don't think.
See, now when Joe say this, I do think he's joking. I don't know. I mean, because he's going to go on and say like he's cool if Kendrick did win. I do think he's joking, but I do think he's partly serious. But at the end of the day, too, there's no I won enough, so somebody else should win just because I won enough. I'm out here competing like everybody else, and so the bar should be, is their work better than mine? Not, oh, I already won 100,000 of them, so I shouldn't get another one just because of that. Like, come on, man.
I think the Clips should win it. I think Kendrick will.
I think GNX should.
I don't think Kendrick's gonna win.
Based on impact and how much I actually really listen to it.
That sounds like some hating shit right there. That just sounds like some hating shit.
I want to stop this right here though, because I think Joe Budden is catching a lot of flack here, and it's not even Joe who said this. So I got to be clear. You know, this podcast is painful to listen to. Every time I do coverage on their hot takes, you know, it just reminds me of how painful it is to listen to these takes, because they really just be fumbling around with a lot of stuff and just coming up with takes on the fly, and, you know, not having. I get that they do a lot or cover a lot or talk about a lot. I mean, they're on air for like 2 to 3 hours each episode, so they just shooting off the hip for a lot of stuff, but it'd be painful. But I do want to say, you know, I see a lot of people that are shooting directly at Joe, but for the first minute and a half of this, it's really Imani that's up there saying that Chance album is going to be overlooked and it's not going to get the recognition it deserves. He says that it's album of the year. Mark Lamont Hill says that the Chance album is album of the year. Joe says he thinks that the Clips should get it, and he believes that Kendrick will get it, right? Which that could be discussed on its own. I really don't have a problem with that take either, but I know a lot of people are also in a space where it's like fuck Joe because of the Doechii commentary. You know what I'm saying? So they're coupling that together and saying, okay, you're saying that Kendrick is gonna win it, basically implying that he's the Grammy darling and is gonna, you know, kind of default to him, but the Clips are gonna deserve it, right? I don't agree. I don't like that. I don't like positing it that way. So I understand with the Doechii thing, and then that people are like snowballing it. But I just want to be clear. This early part of this video is Imani's take that they're all weighing in on.
Man, so the get to the back of the line, like, I don't know if there's an agenda or what the agenda is here, But to get to the back, like, if you're up and you're winning, you're just winning. So now at this point, the bias is showing its head, and now Kendrick has won so much and has been so celebrated that now you're just tired of the celebration, and you're not necessarily looking at things from a quality perspective and saying it's a better album. You're just saying it's very good, but I'm tired of seeing him win. It's like Floyd Mayweather. At some point, people just started tuning into Floyd Mayweather to watch him lose. The same thing with Mike Tyson. Same thing. Great athletes, people who are, at least in their prime or at their time, the best at what they did. Michael Jordan, you just want to, we just want to see bro lose. Somebody else got to win. Patrick Mahomes, we want to see him lose. Somebody else got to win. And I think that it does get a little weird, because if they just the best, bro, and if it's their time, it's their time. I don't care if you don't want to see them win or not.
By this point, the reactors start closing ranks around Kendrick, pointing out his consistency, storytelling, and replay value earned every accolade.
Look, it's not about if someone already won, should they win more? That's irrelevant. Now look, I wouldn't be mad though if Let God Sort Them Out won. I really wouldn't be mad. You wouldn't hear no you wouldn't get no pushback from me on that one. It's going to be, I do think though, it's going to be hard for Let God Sort Them Out to beat GNX, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did. But let's not act like GNX didn't make a huge splash, and the waves are still reverberating as far as that records off of that album still being used, still being played. They're part of huge marketing campaigns. Like, whoever is behind marketing GNX, and I'm assuming it might even be Kendrick's own company, is doing a fucking genius job of it. So, and me and my wife were just riding today and listening to Luther again. It's like, damn, this song, it still feel like that song just dropped. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think Kendrick's gonna win.
Based on impact and how much I actually really listen to it, I probably would put GNX first.
Yeah.
Yo, that.
Because GNX not only has the songs that the critics love, but that project also featured a bunch of smash hits.
It's a dogfight. I want to be clear.
Album, bro.
I wouldn't be mad if the Clips won.
Kendrick got to get to the back of the line and share the
Yo,
stage.
we're not
We
being
already gave
honest
you
about that album.
9
Again, like I said in the intro, this is like those MVP rules.
versions of every award.
That's why I don't think you're gonna get it.
We're not being honest about Kendrick's album, man.
I'm being
I
very
never like
We
it the way
talking
y'all
over
did.
each other. We talking over each other.
So it's Chance.
Can I just say,
You can't really say that, especially given the taste that Chance's last album gave everyone. But I'm also not going to downplay the dude, because the dude is very capable of getting an award like that.
Kendrick is
very
and
talented.
has been Chance. I'm not gonna say
I ain't hear you say Kendrick's a Grammy darling.
He is, but he earns it though. It ain't like he's just
Absolutely.
whatever.
What you about to say about his album?
All those projects were deserving.
I don't think it aged as well as people would like to think it did. I
I
like
still
it.
listen to that album.
It's my least favorite of his albums.
And everyone definitely has a right to their opinion, but that could also be testament to the fact that these masterfully crafted projects that were concept albums, but that shouldn't diminish the value of GNX, of the greatness of GNX, because you love those other projects. Those projects also won Grammys. This is definitely giving we can't give the MVP to LeBron because the guy has been winning every year type vibes.
At the end of it all, the community came to one truth. You can critique without hate, but when your track record speaks louder than opinions, greatness stands untouchable.
Real tricky. We gotta have a conversation about what is fair critique on somebody versus somebody just flat out hating on something. Now, obviously, as we know, when it comes to music, it's subjective. Music that sounds good to you might not sound good to me, and vice versa. So, keeping that in mind, if I praise somebody's music one day, would I now be considered as a hater if I critique that person's music and don't like it the next day?
On the GNX tour live twice already, he definitely put on a masterclass performing Reincarnated. We're very close to people admitting GNX's album, and we spotted another owl, guys. When it comes to Drake hate, these autistic inbreds in these comments agree, but God forbid a nigga say something about Kendrick. It's like people talking about Jays, effing roaches. And for a person that's speaking on other people, hating other people, this guy literally has a lot of hate in his heart. And here we have that cult of the Ovihoites member Sidney LaFleur once again. LMAO, the way everyone has to force themselves to like GNX to be accepted is some of the scary shit I've ever seen. And my rebuttal to this post would be that, yeah, the narratives that I've seen you post and the ones that you actually say that you believe are probably some of the scariest I've ever seen. I'm glad everyone is starting to tell the truth about that album, no shit. And this guy is obviously throwing another slur. Mark Lamont Hill would have this take. At Kendrick Lamar, eliminations failed, little bro. And this guy is an extreme cornball, guys. But like I said many times before, you cannot use logic on a person that didn't use logic to get to their perspective. And while I do feel everyone has a right to their opinion, I do feel like the JBP are just being prisoners of the moment, like I keep saying throughout this video. At the end of the day, I don't think the fact that a person swept the awards should mean that the guy shouldn't get the awards next year, because that would be extremely biased and honestly really unfair to the artist.
The slaps are a little bit different. I don't think the Clips album was meant for that. Didn't he win 5 Grammys last year? Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't want to see that again. Where were you niggas when people were giving 15+ year run claims to the Canadian Diddy, but since Kendrick is in his 3rd year in a row running, y'all trying to hate on him. GNX should easily win both rap and album of the year at the Grammys. Yeah, he's a Grammy darling, but that's because he puts out the best product by far. See? Chance the Rapper album is fire, but it absolutely is not better than Let God Sort Him Out or GNX. GNX deserves album of the year. Clips rap album of the year. Chance album was not better than Jizz. See? I like the Chance album, so it should win album of the year. Imani and Mark are funny with that one. That garbage podcast is losing relevancy. So I think that was my next thing to say too, was as a hip hop media space, you should not be allowing your biases to come through when you talk about things like that, because I feel like the voices reach far, right? Their voices reach very far. And, you know, but I mean, the other part to that, I guess, is that people will call them out. Like I'm seeing people call them out and say, that's just not the right way to approach this kind of topic. It's their opinion. They're cool with that. I don't think they disrespected anybody other than saying Kendrick is a darling, Grammy darling, which I think is just whack because he absolutely earned everything. And I'm rambling.
Chance album is good straight up, but album of the year over Clips or GNX, nah. Funny how they talk about these albums because none of them get spins in the South. Dude said, that's a goddamn lie. Nigga, I'm in Texas and my home city is Shreveport, Louisiana. All they play is Not Like Us, Luther TV off and Peekaboo. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Look, man, can we start with the Kendrick don't get played in this region or in that region of the U.S.? You don't have an album go 2 times platinum and still going. And if I'm not mistaken, is the highest selling rap album this year, right? Am I think the last time I seen that it was, but either way, you don't have that type of performance if it's not resonating in all 50. You heard, bro, which of those albums have the depth and slaps that GNX has? Man at the Garden. Oh, no, man, I'm telling you, it's gonna be hard, man. GNX is a hard fucking album. I'm telling y'all, it's gonna be hard for the Clips to win. I want the Clips to win, I wouldn't mind, but they up against some high power shit, man. And GNX should easily win both rap and album of the year at the Grammys. Yeah, he a Grammy darling, but that's because he puts out the best product. Yeah, God forbid he go away for another 2-3 years, and then, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man, y'all can't have it both ways. These dudes on. I'm telling you, man, I'm convinced at this point, Joe Budden and them are professional rage baiters, bro. That's what they do.